There's no such thing as bad press, so the saying goes. I'm Jamie Gorman, host of Be Better at Business TV, and I'm here this morning with Asha Sadalia Brio of Asha Public Relations, and we're going to explore that saying, and then we're also going to discuss how public relations can help you be better at business. Good morning, Asha.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Well, as we all know, things like Facebook and YouTube and email have really taken over a lot of what we do in marketing. How have those social media channels changed public relations?
Well, they've certainly added another venue to public relations, which I really encourage most of my clients to engage in.
Okay.
But Facebook, Twitter, social media has allowed companies to engage immediately and directly now to audience,
Right.
which is one of the, I think, biggest key differences. We don't have the middleman anymore. We can talk directly to our audience.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest changes.
So so as a company now, I can really brand myself through these media channels. I kind of have built my own media channels through email and through Facebook and those types of things. So that is pretty big.
Right.
How are the media channels themselves using that as well? Are they able to? Are they like, we don't like social media because that takes out us, or are they kind of embracing it
I
as
think
well?
a lot of our media outlets have wonderful, wonderful social media sites.
Okay.
WJLA comes to mind for me. Plug for WJLA. I love their Facebook site.
Okay.
And they're great about building content. And of course, many of their viewers, many publications have people who are an audience and readers who are going to their sites to get content.
Right.
We definitely have a demographic more than ever that only goes to social media to get some of their news.
Yeah.
And that is a fact. It's not to say we don't have certainly generations of people who still want to have a newspaper, who still want to watch the nightly news. We still have those. I mean, I have my father who still wants to watch the CBS Evening News at 6:30. We will have those. We still have people who want to just go online maybe and get their information. But again, I think social media needs to be incorporated into every company's marketing plan.
Right. And I think that, that brings up something that people will ask me, because I do a good bit with social media. They'll say, well, if I'm on Facebook, do I still need a website, or do I still need to be on Twitter? And I said, you got to understand that your audience, people are choosing how they consume their information now, and they have more choices than ever. And so you may be on Facebook, but not everybody's there. Believe it or not, not everybody's there, right? So good. And another thing is, I think people sometimes start thinking that social media becomes this, that's all I need, right? But even with social media, you still need that story. You still need something to talk about as a business. Do you find that in public relations as well?
Right. I think social media is certainly not the silver bullet
Right, okay.
for all marketing. It is, again, something we have to add in and integrate into our marketing campaigns. But I do think we need to look at the bigger picture. PR, again, brings the credibility of the objectivity of a reporter. Posting on Facebook does not have that same level of objectivity.
Okay. Okay. So, forgot my next question. So from a perspective of how have you seen, what's a good experience you've had in seeing a good example, or what's one of your favorite, public relations campaigns that you've seen that's kind of used the multimedia and really been effective and successful?
Well, one of the campaigns that I really enjoyed working on recently was the Manassas 150th Civil War commemoration.
Oh, yeah, right.
That we did in 2011 over the summer, and it was a great opportunity to incorporate local, regional, national media and to really help put Manassas on the map. So it was a really exciting program that I was a part of.
Okay. And what kind of media channels did you use? I mean, what kind of things did you get accomplished through that?
Well, we had CNN, we had Associated Press, we had all the locals, local CBS, local NBC, we had Fox 5 Morning News, and then, of course, all our local papers that we love.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful, and so many of the media had come out that day and said, gosh, we didn't know Old Town Manassas was here. So
Right.
It was a great opportunity to get that.
Well, that's a great example of something that, really, local locations like that have like an old town environment, and they're looking for things to kind of set them apart. Public relations is great for that, but then setting up an event which gave you the story to talk about
Right.
through the media channels, something that people care about, and then they were able to come back, and the benefit was for the town of Manassas, Prince William County, those types of entities from a tourist perspective.
Right.
Yeah, that's great. So, Alyssa, do we have any questions for Asha?
I don't want to put my company on Facebook because people can post bad things about my business. Is there any way to prevent that or counterattack?
Yeah, I actually get that question with Facebook a good bit. You know, how do you do that? And probably just in press in general, but what do you recommend to folks?
Well, I'd be interested to hear what you recommend, but what I always say is, again, I encourage my clients to incorporate social media sites.
Right.
And I would not say if you're concerned about negative responses for that to deter you. Because again, I say, look at it this way. If you have someone who has a negative experience with your company, or maybe there was a customer service issue and they posted it on your Facebook site, you have the opportunity to respond in a positive way,
Right.
efficiently, timely, with a solution to their problem. And all of a sudden, you have an audience that sees how you solve that problem so quickly. So not only was the initial person who had the problem now impacted in a positive way, you have this entire audience who says, wow, look at how they took care of that issue so
Right.
quickly. And that's a wonderful, wonderful gift to be able to show how you can solve a problem.
Right.
Because that one person would forgive that for that problem solving that you had. And the other thing I would say is, when you think about social media, you think about participation and engagement and posting and tweeting, but you also need to think about listening and monitoring.
Right.
It's just like any other communication source. What do we say? Good communication is about 70% of listening.
That's right.
Okay, so listen on social media. Don't post and walk away. You want to hear what people are talking about or asking about,
Right.
and then take the opportunity to respond.
Right, yeah, and yes, very similar. But what I start with is, they're saying it anyhow,
Right.
right? So this kind of gives you the opportunity to at least know they're saying about it and address it. Because a lot of people will get on. If somebody has a bad experience with your company, one of the things we all struggle with is, you know, a lot of times they don't come and tell us directly, but they'll tell 10 friends.
Absolutely.
And most of us would prefer that they come and tell us so that we can fix it and make it right. And I think when you're doing that, especially on Facebook, Twitter, it does give you that opportunity, just like you said, to fix it in front of everyone's eyes, and they kind of see what kind of response that is. Same thing with reviews. I get a lot from retailers and people who have reviews, and they have negative reviews come in. And after I tell them, well, first thing, make sure that you don't have a serious flaw in how you're providing customer service, and they're not right. And then go out and, you know, most of them you can respond to now, and go back and make things right, and make sure that they have a good customer experience, right?
And there's certainly a difference between negative comments or problems someone might have with your company and inappropriate
Yes.
content.
Yes.
And that can be dealt with differently with deleting content if you need to do that.
Yes, and you can report those folks. You know, if it's abusive, or you think it's one of your competitors that's just making stuff up, you can report that type of thing. And there's some things that you can do.
Sure.
Sometimes it takes a little while, but there are things that you can do. Great. Well, you know, we've talked a lot about public relations, but is there anything more specific you'd like to share about Asha Public Relations specifically?
We are a public relations firm that specializes in customized PR planning.
Okay.
And we're very strategic in business planning as well as putting story planning together, and we're very aggressive with media relations.
Okay. Great.
So,
Thank you. Well, thanks for joining us.
thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Be Better at Business TV. I'm Jamie Gorman, host of Be Better at Business TV, and if you found this content useful, I encourage you to share it with your colleagues, share it with your clients, share it with your friends. But most of all, use this content, go out and be better at business.